right, another guy's going to be at the. We're going to have to rent a limousine to get us all over here today.
That's true.
Because Carlos, you said you're going to be at the show today as well.
Yes.
Yeah?
This is my favorite time of the year to go to the home show. When I was at the Attorney General's office, I used to give a seminar. And in fact, I gave a seminar last night to seniors on how to hire a contractor. And I'll be there today to answer any questions at the Property Source booth.
Is there room for all of us here, Jeff?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah?
Yes.
I think so.
Wow. Well,
I look forward to it.
This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, great time to do your homework, find legitimate, great contractors. We have many, many good contractors here in town. Unfortunately, the contractors that I dealt with were not good, to say it easy.
All the time? I mean, you never had a good one?
The complaints we handle were so, out of, these scammers, these door-to-door drive-by contractors and, taking advantage of our elderly consumers is just unbelievable.
People who don't have necessarily any information about their company on the side of their truck, they'll pull up to your house and say, I can do your driveway right now. It looks
Absolutely.
like you need.
Yeah.
And that's a red flag, unmarked truck.
You don't even need a license in New York, statewide, to be a contractor, which is pretty sad.
I heard there was a pretty good scam going around, and I love scams.
Me too.
The more we have you on Property Source Radio, the more I'm intrigued by the scam business. I know, Pat, you're the
I
same
can't
way.
keep up with them though.
Yeah.
I think my energy is overflowing onto yours, and you're kind of picking up on the scams.
You see mine when I start getting ready. Look, I got notes.
More notes. What is this one I hear about? Parking tickets?
Yeah. You know how you got to go to the doctors or whatever, and you park in a lot or park on the street? Well, scammers have taken advantage of that. They'll put a fake parking ticket on your windshield, and when you come back wherever you were, and you'll see that you got a fine, and the ticket will tell you that you have to log on to some website and download some link so that you could pay the fine.
Oh.
I mean,
thank God I don't fall victim for that, because I just whip my tickets out the window when I drive by.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. I don't.
The next time you'll see one of those lock your
the boot.
Your boot. Yeah, you're gonna have a
The
boot
Denver boot. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, those are the worst. And that just preys on elderly too. I mean, older people going to the doctors.
Yeah, that's bad.
But I think and this may just be me, but I think when you get people like Alex, you just see right through it. I mean, because you're.
Yeah, I think you'll figure it out right away. Right?
I have become such a skeptic. I actually need Carlos in my corner this week. I received a letter in the mail this week from a life insurance company. My mother passed away from cancer 11 years ago. I got a letter in the mail stating that she had a life insurance policy, and they understand that she has passed away, and they want to close out the policy. And I have to call this number and fill out this form and send them a death certificate. So the first thing I did was go online and research if a company with that name actually exists.
Good for you.
Found the company, called the number, talked to a person. She told me what I needed to do. But I am still... First of all, I had no idea my mother had life insurance. Secondly, I'm the only daughter listed as a beneficiary, which is fishy because I have an older sister and a younger sister. So I don't know... How would I find out? Even if I call the company and talk to somebody, how do I find out if this is...
One point you'll find out quickly is if they're asking for personal information, like your Social Security number or your mom's Social Security number. Because scammers also...
But wouldn't you need to provide that, Carlos, if you're going to prove it's your policy?
Yeah, I have to show you the paper because I brought it with me so you could take a look at it. I mean,
I'd be reluctant to give any personal information before you get some paperwork from them to see that it's legit. Ask them for a copy of the policy that has your mom's signature and compare the signatures.
Good idea.
I wouldn't give any information out about any personal information about yourself as a beneficiary or your mom.
But see, and we talked about this last week, Alex, and you know as well, sometimes you think everything looks right, and I can see where they might need my mom's Social Security number.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I talked to the woman, and the only information she verified for me was the policy number, which I got off the paper, and the last 4 digits of her Social Security number. I mean, I don't know how far they can go with that. And, I mean, go ahead and steal her identity all you want.
Scammers search records.
It's not going to wreck her credit.
Where are you going with that?
Well, actually,
sure.
That's a good question that scammers do that. You have deceased relatives and they're
It just seems strange that 11 years later they would contact me and say, hey, you have this policy in your name, and the claim, I asked how much the claim was for, and it's not for a lot of money, a very small amount actually. And I was just like, there's a whole bunch of things that didn't add up, but it looks so legitimate. I mean, I could be essentially giving my personal information to a company that doesn't exist, who has set up a very elaborate scheme to...
Don't do it.
Right.
I received a letter this week from the controller's office saying there was some abandoned fund with my name on it, and I'm skeptic. I don't trust it. I'm going to do some research first to see what's this all about before I respond to anything.
What can a identity thief or a scammer do with the last 4 numbers of your Social Security number alone, or when you go to a restaurant and you use your American Express card and you get the little receipt that has the last 4 numbers?
Last 4 numbers. That's a new law. Before the restaurants printed up the entire number, which
used to
is
bother me all the time. Yeah.
Well, scammers, what they do is get bits and pieces of your information. So they have the 4 numbers, and then they'll just juggle numbers, or they'll go into your mail and try to find out what the other numbers. They'll go to the county clerk's office and see maybe there's some document there with your full Social Security number. County clerks are more careful now about having anything on file with your Social Security numbers. Although there's been some slip-ups, they still have to be careful. Wow. So they piece the information. You'd be surprised what they get out of the internet.
Even with just 4 numbers.
With 4 numbers.
Gosh.
Wouldn't it be easier just to start a business and do something right? I don't know.
You would think.
Juggling numbers, 15 digits on a credit card? Holy cow, give me a headache.
Identity theft is just prevalent. It makes a lot of money. When I was at a local diner, which I love diners here. We have great ones. And the owner came up to me, he knows what I do, and said, there's a new scam going on with the folks ordering through the ITT line, which is folks that are deaf. Well, scammers found a way to invade that. It's really unbelievable. An order comes in through the ITT machine for sandwiches, and it's quite a big order. And the scammer, of course, has a stolen credit card. So the scammer will say, I want to order the stuff. Here's the credit card number. And by the way, when the person comes up to pick it up, when you charge an extra $900, keep $200 and give the courier $700 back.
Wow.
You can do that at a diner?
Yes.
Wow.
I guess if you have the charge machine, you could scan and you could charge anything you want.
That surprises me, 1, because I didn't think diners kept that much cash on hand, and 2, because I mean, you'd have to go really. But then again, I just heard of a guy in Greece who was going around to different sandwich shops and coming in without a receipt or any product and saying, I just ordered lunch and it was terrible and I want my money back, but I don't have my receipt. And the cashiers are just giving him his money back.
Right.
He did it at 3 different places in an afternoon. Like,
wow.
But here, the owner told me that it happened to him locally here 4 times, 4 calls, like within the week, and other merchants are getting these calls, and it's a bogus credit card. Plus, if you follow through, you're going to be out all the meals plus the $500-700 that you give the courier. And it's happening here in Rochester.
Well, let's step back though. If I process a credit card on my merchant account, where I take your Visa and I charge $5 on it, it says approved. That means it goes into my account. What happens if it's a bogus credit card? It should say declined.
Well, no, it's a stolen
so it's
credit
still
card.
legitimate.
It's a legitimate card.
Okay.
That goes
they
through
have to
and
strike when it's fresh. Then when the
yes, they strike when it's fresh.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Right. So they would be out of luck with my credit card.
And they use the ITT machine, which is taking advantage of folks that are deaf.
Yeah.
You're always going to have a scam. You're going to be in business for a long time here.
I can't keep up with it. Look at
I know he comes in every week. He has
Just
piles
last
and
night.
piles and stuff.
And I'm getting great ideas over here.
Yeah, of course you are.
I know. I do not want to give scammers any ideas, but I want my goal is to be proactive and educate folks on how to avoid these scams.
Yeah, you saw Jeff Haley.
One way to negate that credit card thing is just to have them say it's got to be swiped at the terminal, not take the numbers over the phone.
Yes, true.
That's a good point. Yes.
True.
By the way,
So merchants take don't they take orders over the phone and they want some?
I do. I sell stuff all over the country, and what happens is I take the thing over the phone. I don't swipe it because I'm not in the customer's face all the time.
You take the numbers up, right?
Right. So I mean, and it costs me
But
a little.
for a restaurant here locally,
locally.
you know, you might want to just say,
I agree.
swipe at the terminal there.
Where have you been lately? Jeff Haley is our executive producer.
I'm turning you guys into superheroes. I have big work I'm doing here.
Really?
Big work.
And I bet you want to ride over to the Dome Arena with us, too.
I do.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
we're going to need a truck with so many people. So you're going to be appearing. You're going to come over to the Home Expo with us.
Yes, I'm going with you.
Pat, you're going to be there as well?
Yes.
The only person who's not going is
me.
Are you
I mean,
not-
gonna
I'm
miss
not
it.
going
Are
to
you
make an appearance. Maybe I'll just go and look around, but you'll have to find.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
You don't want people harassing you for your autograph?
That's
Is that-
right. I mean, I already have paparazzi following me. It's kind of obnoxious.
or your picture. Yeah. By the way, I want to tell you guys, I talked with Lana Torrey this past week, and of course, you know, probably wondering where she's been. We haven't really talked about it because, you know, with regulations and federal and HIPAA and all that, it's when it's a medical thing. But she's had some medical procedures. She's doing better. I don't know if she's ready to come back to the show yet, but when she does come back, she's eager to, you know, bring her husband with us.
We miss her.
We do miss Lana, and she's doing better, but she's not quite ready to come back. She has a kind of a I probably shouldn't even say.
Okay. Don't say it.
No.
Don't say
Safety
it.
first.
Yeah, I know. At the Attorney General's office here, breathing down my throat. What else do you have there? I see one with
Yeah, this is
involving
really
car rentals.
intriguing to me because you know, we all, when we go on vacations, rent cars, and I didn't realize that the rental car companies are not really under. There's really no federal regulation regarding if a vehicle is recalled by the manufacturer.
Really?
Yeah, I just read that about a year or two ago there was a big recall by a big auto dealer.
Yeah.
About the rugs and people getting their gas.
Gas, okay.
Well, guess what? This is a story. Guess what the rental car company did to quote fix the problem?
Took the mats out.
Yes, you read the story.
No, I just was guessing.
Yes, great guess. That's
Okay.
what they did. And
So
continued
they're
renting
not
the car.
bound to bring a car back that has been recalled.
They're not under the Federal Transportation Agency, and it's really no rules and regulations. But one of the rental car companies stepped up to the plate and is urging regulations regarding rental car companies continuing to rent cars that have been recalled. And I guess we as consumers really should do our homework. If you're going to rent a car, probably my advice is check to see what cars have been recalled and make sure that you don't rent one of those cars that have been recalled.
Oh my gosh, you got to do. You know, I've never had a car recalled, let alone worry about a rental car being recalled.
You don't know.
Right, right. That sounds interesting that you have to go that much further into researching your rental cars before you go on vacation or go for a trip.
Well,
or
have you
whatever.
researched the price of rental? It's buyer beware.
Oh, yeah, okay. The
Buyer
prices
beware.
are all over the
And
map.
prices
I always
are
rent
all
the
over
smallest,
place.
cheapest car available. I don't care if only one person can get in it. If it's
But-
me, I'm
But
fine.
the price could be higher than getting another car.
I do some shopping when it comes to
Yes.
that. And, you know, everybody's always worried about the insurance on a rental car, whether you should do that or not.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm choking.
I guess
because
so.
I had so many bad deals with this insurance issue that I had to choke because what I do is get a rider in your car insurance for rental. It's like $10 a year. You could do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't sign up for insurance.
No, I never
when
do.
rent a car.
I just assume that my insurance will cover it. And
Don't assume that. Don't assume it.
Just check with them first. But I believe that I think that they have a coverage for if you're the person going into another
You
car.
have to have a rider.
Because my insurance company told me that I would be covered to driving your car, Carlos.
Get it in writing.
You got a nice car. I'm driving it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'll get it in writing.
Get it in writing.
Huh.
I remember having an issue when I went to Puerto Rico once, and they wanted to charge $25 a day, and they wouldn't rent the car. I couldn't rent the car unless I did it
For the insurance.
for
you
the
mean?
insurance.
Really?
And
Okay.
they scare you about, if you have an accident there, you're going to be liable for the whole amount and all the injuries, and it was a nightmare.
Carlos, in your corner, Carlos, 25 years with the Attorney General's office, and he is an attorney, and he is on top of this stuff every single week for us at Property Source Radio. And information, of course, at PropertySourceRadio.com. I know you put a whole pile of stuff up there last
Yes.
week.
Yep. And continue to do that.
Stuff that we talked about this week. You know, Jeff, while you're here, executive producer. We should figure out a way, if people have a scam they want to find out about, whether they should email us or whether they can get in touch with us somehow to kind of get to the bottom of their situation. Whether you just email, I have a great idea. Email Pat Coyne.
Yeah, watch my video resume on propertysourceonline.com first.
Do that.
I have a website too, callusinyourcorner.com, and you can send me an email, or the Property Source webpage has emails. I'll respond that way.
Great. I hate the Yankees still.
I love the Yankees.
I love you.
I want Mariano Rivera to stay in the Yankees forever. He's talking about retirement.
He's talking about retiring.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll continue this next week. Don't forget, we have Sabres hockey tonight, 7 o'clock against the Rangers. You probably love the Rangers, too.
Yes.
Of course you do.
The Giants, of course.
Yeah.
And the Knicks?
Well,
I have Linsanity already. I can't wait to watch their games.
He's quite a story. All right, we got to make way for ESPN Radio. I'm sure they're going to be talking about Jeremy Lin and getting set for a big weekend of NBA, also baseball and basketball, college basketball. So let's get right back to it. Sports Radio 950 ESPN. Thanks for joining us. See you next Saturday.